privilege of a lifetime is to become who you truly are. Carl Jung. Have you ever encountered certain individuals in your life? They seem to be the silent masters of their own universe. In bustling social settings, they are not the ones who speak the most or act the most flamboyantly. Yet they possess an invisible force field, capable of silently influencing the flow of their surroundings. They never shout, never demand, and certainly never beg for the attention or approval of others. They have mastered an ancient and powerful force, an art almost forgotten by modern society. When the undercurrents of conflict surge, when unreasonable demands crash down like a tidal wave, when the emotions of those around them attempt to engulf them like a tempest, they do not choose to retaliate head-on, nor do they humbly submit. They simply, gently, elegantly take a step back. They choose to withdraw. In the very moment they withdraw, the entire energy field of the world seems to undergo a wondrous, subversive transformation. The party that was once aggressive suddenly loses its target, as if a punch landed on cotton, all its force dissipating into nothingness. Those accustomed to drawing energy from them, to seeking a reaction, begin to feel an inexplicable unease, confusion, even panic. They start to chase, to question, desperately trying to re-establish that familiar, controllable connection. They do not understand. How can a person's absence carry more weight than their presence? How can silence be more deafening than 1,000 words? This power stems from a profound self-awareness, a wisdom known as conscious unavailability. This is not escapism but a strategic retreat, not indifference, but the cherishing and protection of one's own energy. Now I ask you to imagine, what if the person who wields this power is you? What if you stopped reacting instantly, reflexively, to every event in your life? What if, in the face of an automatic emotional outburst, you chose a noble silence? What if you replaced pointless arguments and exhaustion with a strategic withdrawal? How do you think your world would change? The answer to this question may lead you to re-examine your relationship with the world, and to reveal the truth of the invisible shackles that have bound you all along. Today we will embark on this journey together, delving deep into the wisdom of Jungian psychology, to learn how to use this power of silence, break the cycle of emotional blackmail, and reclaim the sovereignty of your own life. This is not just a discussion about power. It is a profound practice of the ultimate mission, to become yourself. Before we delve deeper into that mysterious power, we must first confront a trap that lies hidden within each of us, almost imperceptible. I call it the emotional availability trap. Do you ever feel like a 24-hour convenience store, whether it's a plea for help at 3 a.m. or the endless stream of symbols in a work chat? You are always the first to respond. You are terrified of missing any information, and even more terrified of letting anyone down. You are accustomed to placing others' needs above your own. "You're okay, no problem, and I'll do it," are spoken 10,000 times more fluently than "I need to rest." This unconditional, excessive state of being available has been packaged by society as a virtue, being helpful, responsible, having high emotional intelligence. From a young age we were taught to be likable, to be empathetic, to always be ready to offer support to others. Our worth, it seems, is built upon the foundation of how available we are to others. But allow me to tell you a truth, with the utmost clarity and honesty, that perhaps no one has ever stated so bluntly. This excessive emotional availability is not a virtue. It is an invisible, self-constructed prison. Within this prison, your energy is relentlessly depleted. Every forced yes, every smile that suppresses your true feelings to maintain superficial peace, every ounce of mental effort spent responding to emotions that were never yours to carry, all of it is a leak, draining your precious life force. You are like a battery being drained by countless devices, simultaneously, yet never having its own time to recharge. Day after day, when the clamor of the world subsides and you are left alone with the night, what remains? Endless fatigue, a nameless frustration, and a profound, bone-deep emptiness you can't explain. You've given your all to everyone around you. So why do you feel like you have nothing left for yourself? The answer is simple. Because you have been far too generous, far too available, to those who do not deserve even a minute of your silence. Those friends who only appear when they need something from you. They are consuming your solutions, not your friendship. The relative who habitually dumps their negativity onto you. They need an emotional dumping ground, not an equal exchange. The colleague who always pushes their tasks onto you at the last minute. They are exploiting your agreeableness, not respecting your time and capacity. You are trapped, hypnotized by the illusion that if I am always available, always giving, I will earn love and acceptance. You believe your selfless dedication will make others stay. But the reality is precisely the opposite. A person without boundaries, who is always available, is perceived subconsciously as cheap, not to be cherished, because what comes easily is rarely valued. Your predictability has become the perfect tool for others to manipulate you. They know that a gentle push of the button labeled guilt, responsibility, or fear will make you react just as they desire. They use you as an emotional emergency button, pressed when they need attention, relief, or validation of their own work. And once they're done, they place you back on the shelf, until the next time they need you, and you remain unaware. Because you are mesmerized by the good person role you've adopted, trapped in what Carl Jung would call the persona. The great psychologist Carl Jung had a stunning insight into this phenomenon. He proposed several core concepts that help us to completely understand this silent war of self-depletion. First, there is the persona. This is the mask we wear in society, to be accepted, loved, and recognized. It is the friendly colleague, the dutiful child, the reliable friend. The mask itself is neither good nor bad. It is necessary for us to adapt to society. The danger, however, lies in mistaking the mask for our true self. We over-identify with this always available, always pleasing role to the point that we forget that beneath the mask there is a self that yearns for authenticity, requires boundaries, and possesses an independent will. This persona is the very warden of the emotional availability trap. It fears rejection. It dreads isolation. So it constantly drives you to give, to respond, to please. Every okay you utter may not come from your heart, but from your persona speaking on your behalf. For its sole purpose is to maintain harmonious external relationships, even at the cost of your inner peace. Second, Jung introduced the concept of psychic energy. He saw the human mind as an energy system, and this energy is finite. Every thought, every emotion, every action we take consumes a portion of this energy. When you react impulsively and unconsciously to external stimuli, you are squandering your psychic energy. Imagine your inner world as a tranquil lake. Every unnecessary argument is like throwing a massive stone into it, creating ripples that disturb the peace for a long, long time. Every sleepless night spent worrying about someone who doesn't deserve it evaporates your psychic energy in pointless rumination. Every time you compromise your own will to please another, your energy is silently siphoned away. This is why you feel utterly drained at the end of the day, because your energy has been scattered and consumed on countless external battlefields, leaving your inner world a barren desert. And the most insidious, most brutal part of this energy struggle is what Jung called projection. This is a psychological defense mechanism, where people unconsciously attribute their own unacceptable inner qualities, especially their negative traits, their shadow, onto others. When your silence enrages someone, they are likely not angry at your non-response. They are angry because your silence has shattered their expectation of control over you, exposing their own insecurity and need for dominance. They project their own vulnerability, their need to be constantly validated onto you, accusing you of being cold or selfish. Your silence becomes a mirror, clearly reflecting the shadow within them that they refuse to face. When someone constantly takes from you and then accuses you of having changed the moment you pause, this too is projection. They are projecting their fear of dependency and their own inner void of self-sufficiency. They don't truly need you. They need the functional role that you play. Understanding this is the beginning of your awakening from the game. you will realize that the intense reactions of others are more about them than they are about you. And all this time you have been paying for their inner dramas with your precious psychic energy. So how do you break this cycle and truly reclaim your power? The answer lies in practice. The practice of the art of conscious unavailability. This is not about isolating yourself from the world, but about becoming the sovereign of your own time and energy. Step 1. Create the sacred pause. When you receive a message that causes you stress or emotional turmoil, do not reply immediately. Grant yourself a sacred pause, even if it's just for 3 deep breaths or counting to 10. This simple act severs the automatic link between stimulus and response. It allows you to wrest control back from your persona and lets your true self consider, do I really want to respond? Does this truly deserve my energy? Step 2. Define your energy budget. Each morning, imagine you have 100 units of energy. Consciously plan where you want to invest this energy. Will you invest it in relationships and work that nourish and grow you? Or will you squander it on people and situations that only drain and exhaust you? Learn to treasure your energy as you would your money, and you will find yourself becoming frugal with pointless expenditure. Step 3. Learn to deliver a clean no. When you are unwilling or unable to fulfill a request, say no directly, clearly and politely. For example, I'm sorry, I can't help with that this time. Or I don't have the time and energy for this right now. After you've said it, stop. Do not over-explain. Do not make excuses. And do not feel guilty for their reaction. Your explanations are often an attempt to soothe their emotions, which pulls you right back into the pleaser's role. A clean no is the most powerful declaration of your own boundary. Step 4. Schedule a ritual of solitude. Every day, or every week, set aside a sacred, uninterrupted period of solitude for yourself. This could be a walk in the park, reading a book with your phone turned off, or quietly sipping a cup of tea. During this time, your only task is to be with yourself, to listen to your inner voice. This active, high-quality solitude will help you reconnect with your inner center, giving you a stable mental anchor when facing the chaos of the outside world. Step 5. Observe your triggers. When you feel provoked, offended, or ensnared by guilt, do not immediately fall into the emotion. Try to observe it like a scientist observing an experiment. What is the trigger? Which word, which glance, which situation caused you to lose your scent? By observing without judgment, you begin to understand where your own inner wounds lie. As Jung said, everything that irritates us about others can lead us to an understanding of ourselves. Once you know your wounds, others can no longer so easily inflict pain. Remember, this process requires courage and practice. You will feel uncomfortable. You will feel guilty. You may even hear others accuse you of being selfish or cold. But this is the necessary path of deconstructing the old self to rebuild the new. You have spent a lifetime being passively shaped into what others expected. Now, it is time to begin actively, consciously, becoming yourself. As you begin to stop being available to everyone, as you start to reclaim your energy, something profound will happen. First, there will be silence, an unsettling silence. Those who were accustomed to drawing energy from you will feel a sense of panic at your unavailability. Their world is thrown off balance, because the you they used to sustain their own sense of self has vanished. Then comes loneliness. You will lose some people, those who were in your life only for your functional value. When they discover you are no longer the accommodating good person on call, they will be disappointed. They will distance themselves. They may even attack. You will go through a period where it feels like you've been abandoned by the world. You will question if you've done the wrong thing, if you've become too harsh. But remember, this is not true loneliness. As Carl Jung profoundly noted, true growth is often accompanied by a form of isolation. This is not the depressing isolation of abandonment, but a sacred, creative isolation. It is a temporary withdrawal from the torrent of the collective unconscious in order to hear the more authentic voice within. This is what I call the loneliness of the strong. It is the loneliness of a person who no longer sells themselves out for the sake of company. It is the loneliness of a soul that chooses to be true to itself, even if the price is temporary misunderstanding
And it is precisely within this seemingly empty solitude that a new you will be reborn. When the external noise quiets down, you can finally hear your own heart's desires. When the projections of others no longer have a surface to stick to, you can finally see your own true face. When you no longer have to expend energy playing the roles others have assigned you, you will have the strength to build the life you truly want. Gradually, you will find this feeling of loneliness transforming into an unprecedented sense of freedom and peace. Your inner world is no longer in chaos. Your power no longer leaks outward. You begin to attract people who genuinely appreciate you, not your function. Your relationships will shift from being based on need and utility to being founded on resonance and respect. You will cease to be a passive reactor and become an active creator. You are no longer shaped by your environment. You begin to shape your reality from within. This is the ultimate reward for breaking free from the emotional availability trap. It is not merely about finding peace. It is about completing the great process Jung called individuation, becoming a whole, authentic, and indivisible individual. This is not an easy path. It requires the courage to be misunderstood, to walk alone, and to rebuild a complete self upon the ruins of the old. This is the start of a new life, a life where you are no longer on call for emotional crumbs, for false connections, for voids disguised as affection. Now, you only accept what resonates with your peace, your truth, and your wholeness. If you have watched this far, it means a part of you is already ready for this new path. A part of you has already understood that being loved means nothing if for that you have to abandon yourself. And that true self-love begins when you choose yourself, even if it costs you to be alone for a while. Now, tell me in the comments, are you ready to be misunderstood, rejected, or even hated in the name of your inner freedom? Are you willing to pay the price of being you? If this message touched you, if it made sense, write in the comments, I choose my peace. Let's see how many souls here are ready for this transition. And don't forget, keep watching the next video. It's important, much more than you imagine. See you there.